All righty, welcome aboard. Yes, sir. We are rocking and rolling on a beautiful Saturday. Hope you guys are doing well out there. We are coming to you live from, of course, Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, the finest Acura dealership on the planet, and, of course, part of the amazing Craig Zinn family. We'll be out here till about 11 o'clock, and then we'll head over to Hialeah Park. This is like our Friday. We're doing it on Saturday. Our incredible sponsors, as always, accommodate us. We have the best sponsors, man. It's just awesome. Our sponsors are just absolutely amazing, and we appreciate them immensely. And I got to tell you, it's on a Saturday where, this is kind of a new territory for us now on the podcast. We haven't done, a lot of these Saturday type shows. So looking forward to it. This is a great way that if you're working right now, if you're off right now, you're normally working when we're on, this is a great opportunity to come on by and say hi, whether it's here, if you're in the Pembroke Pines area, or of course, later on in the afternoon when we're out at Hialeah Park, you can also come on out and join us out there. We'll be out there 1 to 4. We'll have some fun. We'll be picking our games. We'll be talking about what we did last week, all that good stuff. So come on out here, man, and join us. I would love that. And don't forget, we are going to be giving away a pairs of passes to Rockville. You'll hear throughout the show, as always. Bill is always playing the Rockville commercial because he loves
Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. Go to welcometorocktillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now.
This is jerky. Anyway, so
I want to stress 2 different sets
Yes.
by Metallica.
Yes, that is very true. 2 different sets. I can't wait for that alone. We just got our tickets for Pearl Jam in Oakland. Because
Good job, Greep.
yeah, we're not going out west on the 20th anymore. Now we're going out west on the 17th. So we're going to be out there for days now. We're going to be out there for 10 days now. We're going to be gone. The wife is, she's cool. My wife is super cool about it. She gets it.
Fun and frolic.
Yes. Hey, man, if I'm going to work my ass off, if he's going to work his ass off, we're going to party too, man. We're going to have some fun and enjoy ourselves. This past week we go out to the Senior Bowl, and there's the British Lion in Pensacola. We got to go take advantage and rock out a little bit. You know how it is, man. Here in honor of Neil Peart, we got a little Rush action for you today, which is this is one of my favorite shirts because you don't get shirts this color. You just don't get concert shirts this color. You know what I mean? And if I'm correct, I think I bought this one. I don't know if I bought this one in Tampa the last time I saw them.
Oh, yes, we were in St. Pete.
No, that's that one. No, but I saw them in Tampa by myself. The last concert.
That was the last concert in Florida. Yes,
yeah,
you're
the last
correct.
concert in Florida.
Yep.
I think I bought this one there. I'm not sure, but so we're gonna rock out. So NorCal, we're coming your way in Northern California, and any Dolph fan out there, if you're going to the Pearl Jam concerts, or hey, I shouldn't even say Dolph fans. I'm saying folks that listen to our show, because there are many people that listen to the show for different reasons. But if you're out in the Northern California area, we'll be out there for those 2 Pearl Jam dates in Oakland, and we'll have some fun out there. I'm looking forward to that. Got a lot of things to talk about today, man. A whole bunch of things. We got guests too on this show, and then obviously in the next show, because we've got 5 hours of programming for you today. And tomorrow we're going to be at Toyota of Hollywood. Tomorrow's going to be our Thursday. Every Thursday we're at Toyota of Hollywood, but we were at the Senior Bowl this week. So Steve Ostrob and all the great guys out there, Herbie, Eddie, just so many great people out there. They have also accommodated us. So Sunday will be at Toyota of Hollywood. Yeah, we're cranking out, man. 7 days a week this week. We are, well, I kind of do it every week that I'm on 7 days, but this time we are rocking 7 days. technically. So we'll have some fun on that one. Yesterday we got in a Friday podcast and everything. We were, after driving back, we drove back, by the way. We drove there and drove back. So not easy to do the 10 hours, but we thank Waze, of course, for making it nice and easy for us out there. So if you're watching on YouTube, of course, you can chat there. You can send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff on the YouTube chat board. We'll take you till about 11 on this one right here, and then we'll go over to Hialeah Park. I see where user Tom is on board saying, "What's up, Big O?" Myron is also in. He loves the Rush shirt. Thank you, sir. Everywhere I Roam is my favorite song. Nice job. Neil Peart loved to roam a lot. Anyway, so no, I know what you're talking about. But anyway, so we will take it till 11. And last night, the Clippers came into town, and the Miami Heat looking to keep that impressive home record up there, and it's still impressive. But unfortunately, it suffered a little dent as the Clippers beat them 122-117 and dropped their home record to 20-2. The poor Miami Heat, they're struggling at 31-14. I mean, it's just and listen, Jimmy Butler leaves with the injury, and you hang in there and you give them a fight, and you're down double digits, and you still make that comeback. And in this world of the three-pointer, you're only out of it if it's like a 35-point lead. If it's a 10 or 15-point lead, it's not the end of the world. You just make a couple of hoops and you're back in it, and that's what they were able to do. And kudos to them, man, that they were a hell of an effort last night. Hopefully Butler will be all right. He still played 30 minutes last night, had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He was nearing that triple-double that Kawhi Leonard achieved for the first time ever. And, I got to tell you something.
Did that not baffle you, man?
Well, yes.
No, all the MVPs.
I had no idea.
Done. Yeah.
I had no idea that he had never had a triple-double, which was, like, really weird. I'm like, wow, really? That's crazy. How can he not have a triple-double? And sure enough, he got one last night with 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. And Kawhi was asked about that, talking about the triple-double. Do we have Kawhi there? Can we play Kawhi Leonard talking a little bit about the triple-double, and asked about, is that something that he was dying to achieve or something along those lines? Here we go. I think. Is it potted up, as Kareem Hunt would say? Okay.
Not at all. That's not my goal. My goal isn't to come out and get triple doubles or get stats. I'm a player that wants to win.
There you go. So, what was that? Was that a song?
It was going to the next track.
Oh, okay. Sounded like a song. Sounded like a.
You would be correct, sir.
It sounded like.
Well, you can name that tune in one note.
Man, it almost sounded like met a girl called Lola, took her back to my place, feeling guilty, feeling scared. Here comes everywhere. Oh no, cheap trick. Surrender. Okay, right. Yeah, okay, the beginning of the drums, exactly. Anyway, so and I love what Kawhi had to say there, because that kind of he's kind of the ultimate team player. He really is, when you think about it. And I know some of you, well, what about this diva stuff with load management? Well, man, hey, the dude suffered an injury that obviously, whatever this injury is, it's pretty bad, bro. Because if it lingers for this long, for this many years, and they have to treat it and maintain it and all of that, then there's a fine line he walks. And yet, he overcomes that fine line to dominate your ass, hit every big bucket that he has to, turn it up. It's like he doesn't have a great first half, And then he's coming off the court, and it's like, well, the last couple of games, he hasn't had a great first half. We'll see if he gets it going in the second half. And it's like, he's the dude that's like, what, are you worried about me, bro? I mean, don't worry about me, bro. Worry about everybody else. I'll get this stuff done, and he gets it done. He's just a freaking superstar, man. That's the difference. We have an all-star in Jimmy Butler and another guy in Bam, who I believe is an all-star. Okay, I'm looking at him like an all-star. But all-star is one thing. Superstar is a whole other thing, and we're going to talk about something that's kind of related to that in a little bit on the show. But it's one of those things that you have to admire the crap out of it, man. And let me tell you, I've admired so much the way Butler has approached this season and how he has gotten everybody involved, and he plays like the ultimate team player also. And considering this is a guy that's been in combative situations in some of the teams he's been in, you kind of now understand why he was in those situations, that those kind of the people that he was involved with weren't wired like the people here in this team, in this organization, the way they do things.
Semi-psychotic.
Yes, exactly.
About winning every game.
Hey, man, you should have passion in anything that you do in life. If it's your job, if it's your family, whatever it is, have passion in it, because that's how you're going to excel. That's how you're going to do your best, when you have passion and you look forward to doing what you want. And then you want the people around you to have the same kind of passion. And you want to surround yourself with those kind of people. And that's what that Heat organization tries to do year in and year out. Find the people that have their same kind of vision, passion, drive, craziness, determination, whatever adjective you want to use. And he has it. And Kawhi is built for the Heat also, let me tell you. There's no doubt in my mind that he's built for the Heat. And they would do all the same things, too, to kind of handle the situation. That's why it shows how special he is. And this is a dude that right now is on a streak of 7 straight 30-plus point games. The record is by World B. Free back in 1980, which was 11 straight. Okay? I mean, this is I love it, man. And Kawhi is straight to the point, brutally honest, doesn't dance around stuff, doesn't give you the company line. He just tells you what he is, what he's all about, and either accept it or don't, and, move on. And that's it. And to me, he's a guy that I just admire, man. I mean, how can you not admire? I admire the way he fought for his injury in his body against the San Antonio Spurs. And the Spurs are a near perfect organization. They are an impeccably run organization.
The Patriots of the NBA.
No, without the cheating. But anyway, they are the ultimate organization. They are the organization that every organization strives to be like, including the Miami Heat. And they made a mistake, because there's no organization that's perfect at all. It's impossible to find. Every organization is going to screw up many times over. Even the great ones are going to make their mistakes. The really bad ones, like the Cleveland Browns, they're always going to make mistakes. That's a whole different ballgame. And they've made their mistakes, and that was one of them. The way they handled the Kawhi situation, not trusting a player like that. That's the key. You cannot treat him like Dion Waiters. Understand? And they treated him like Dion Waiters. And that's the problem. Speaking of Dion Waiters made a debut last night. Yes. They had a whole bunch of injuries, right? The often injured Winslow was out. Kendrick Nunn was out. No Dragon. No surprise. That body's constantly breaking. I'm telling you, that European championship he went to a couple years ago, that effed up his entire career. That effed it all up, dude. I'm telling you. Anyway, as I digress. Dion patiently or impatiently or disrespectfully waits for this opportunity. And it comes out of desperation, obviously, from the coach. So I'm sure Dion knows it. And in 18 minutes, he shot an inefficient 5 of 12. But he was productive from three-point range, 4 of 9, except for that last three towards the end of the game that was he shot 2 air balls out of those shots. Scored 14 points, had 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 turnovers in the game. You would call it a somewhat productive night. You know what I mean? You can't call it that it was a terrible night. It was a good night. He hit some baskets. A couple of them were timely. I'll give him that it was something that the team needed. But you can tell that he really wanted the moment. You can tell he really wanted to kind of take over when that's not his place. Instead of trying to find and compliment, you can tell that he overdid a little bit too much. In other words, he might have taken a couple shots that he shouldn't have taken. But that's kind of the MO in this league. And I don't think that you're going to necessarily kill him for that in the film room or even here in public. But overall, I thought it was a decent outing for him. Now the question is, what does he do with this stage? Does he go Dion Waiters, or does he learn and try to mature from all of this and say, all right, dude, I got playing time. I'm getting paid and getting a little playing time now. If I can just be patient, wait for my turns here, try to do something, and try to convince people the rest of the way that I can actually be a good citizen, and I can conform, and I can contribute, and I can be a team player, and I can laugh with my teammates and celebrate in their success, not just in mine. Will he take that attitude? Because he's got 1 more year left on that contract. And do you want to spend it as the 10th, 12th man on this team? Because next year will be another round where they could add another player and another player that can skip you and dig you deeper into the rotation. And sure, you'll get your money, you'll play it out, but you would have set nothing out there as a resume for you to get another job that isn't at the NBA minimum. Because if you continue down this path of being a jerk, of being an immature jerk, okay, then you're not going to get anything. But this is a forgiving world. Sometimes to an extreme that I'm not agreeable with, but it is what it is. And you can come back from 800 mistakes in this world. And you've made 799 already. It's up to you, Dion. You got the stage, right? It's not a short thing because these guys are going to come back eventually, and that's going to hurt you. But Dragon is often injured. So they may need you again. And one of the things that everybody remembers from that 28-game stretch, okay, is the performance of you and Dragon as a tandem. That's what my vision was deep in the offseason was, man, you bring Dion off the bench with Dragon, and if Dion can capture some of that magic, you're going to have a real potent bench. And the bench has already been a really potent thing already with Hero, with Olynyk, and obviously Dragon. That threesome is deadly off the bench. You know, Dion can do something for himself here. And that was a nice step yesterday. And he didn't screw it up by doing any kind of antics that he shouldn't have. He handled it, pretty well overall, I have to say. So now it's up to him. Where does he go with all of this? What does he do? As The basketball saying is the ball is in his court now. That's kind of a tennis saying, isn't it? Really? That's what it is, right? It's tennis, right?
That would be a tennis.
Yeah,
yes.
that's a tennis saying. The ball is in. They're both courts, but it was the wrong court I was talking about. So the ball is in his court now. What's he going to do? Is he going to slam one? Is he going to keep the volley going? Is he going to, hit it out of bounds? That we're going to find out. Is he going to be arguing with the ref? Is he going to go Pat McEnroe? Wow. I'm just John McEnroe, bro. It's Saturday morning. I guess I'm just not sharp.
He would like some popcorn and some gummy bears.
There you go. It's all up to Dion now, man. It really is. Let's do it, Dion. Wake up, my brother. We are at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, folks. And don't forget, they've got great deals going on right now. The ILX, it's $209. The TLX, it's $249. The RDX, $339. The MDX, $349. Only $29.99. Do it signing plus tax tag and registration, folks. So get on down there or get on down here to 15601 Pines Boulevard. Come on out here and see Larry Schlossberg and all the great people. And by the way, if you own or lease an Acura, like we do in our family, you can get it serviced here. Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber, the service center here is awesome. They are absolutely fantastic. So check it out for yourself out here and tell them that Big O sent you. Make sure you mention my name to anybody and everybody while you're out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
All righty, welcome back.
This is the Big O Show.
It's funny because we're out here, we're under roof over at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines, so we're protected and all of that. And even the sun's above us, right? But
finally.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Finally,
when you're setting up,
I sweat like a fat kid playing dodgeball.
Yeah, no, I get you. And so right now it's cool. It's good weather right now, but it's funny because the sun's away from us. But I brought my glasses because it hits the floor, which then has this glare that comes up at you, and oh man, that glare is glaring and blinding.
You're not wearing your shades because your future.
No, my future's never been bright, so I don't need shades. So it's all good. It's all good in the hood, as they say. Remember, you can reach out to us and you just heard Bobby Nunez right now, on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's a great place to send in, of course, your questions, comments, insults, even a compliment if you happen to have one. We'll take compliments every once in a while. Why not? We feel bad enough, especially I do. When I get home, I just get, bombarded by the wife and the daughter, and they make me feel terrible because I'm terrible. So I need as much compliments as possible to make me feel a little better there. So send them in as much as possible here on the accidentlawfirm.com text line.
You look really cool with your shades on right now.
Oh, my Caneswear shades on. Yes. Brett and all the great people.
Brett hooked you up, huh?
At Canes. Well, yes, of course, man. Hey, man, I got all the shades in my car are shades from Caneswear now. They're different Cane shades. That's what I wear now everywhere I go. I put my Oakleys aside, and I've been wearing, because these are UV protected and all, so they're really good, man. Extremely affordable, by the way. That's the other thing. It's a joke. It's a joke. I gotta love everything at Caneswear. They are so phenomenal, and these are such cool glasses, man. And they feel great. They really do. Anyway, so we are out here. We're having some fun. Come on by, see all the great people out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. I guarantee you, they will definitely take care of you. What do we got here on the chat board? Morning, guys, on this beautiful Saturday. Thank you, Emilio. Appreciate it. They're asking me if the Nunn injury is serious. I don't know, man. We got to wait. The Heat doesn't say much, so I have no idea how serious it is. Well, you know what? We'll find out on Monday against Orlando if he plays and where he's at. You'll see. Emilio says Dion needs to understand that he is not a superstar. He's a good basketball player. That's all. Emilio will never understand that. Ian from Brooklyn says, happy Saturday, folks. What's up, Big O and Bill? Thank you, as always. Myron says, I know my Niners got a 53 team. The Chiefs got the one guy on Patrick. I believe defense wins championships. Yeah, and, I agree. And I'll get into that, Myron. I'll give you a little – I got some thoughts on the Super Bowl that we'll get into here on the program. By the way, speaking of the Miami Heat, the Andre Fernandez, who covers the Miami Heat for The Athletic, will join us at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock to start hour number 2 here of the program. We'll have Mr. Fernandez on to talk a little bit about that game last night. Fun game last night, man. Great atmosphere in that game last night. Let me get into a little bit of Eli Manning, because this is one of those fascinating conversations that we have. And of course, I'm talking about Hall of Fame, right? Because that's the question that everybody has since he retired yesterday. And Eli, first of all, one of the things, talking about how he was himself and in the retirement. Let's play that soundbite of Eli talking about being himself.
It's impossible to explain the satisfaction, actually the joy I've experienced being a Giant. From the very first moment, I did it my way. I couldn't be someone other than who I am. Undoubtedly, I would have made the fans, the media, even the front office more comfortable if I was a more rah-rah guy. But that's not me. Ultimately, I choose to believe that my teammates and the fans learned to appreciate that. They knew what they got was pure, unadulterated Eli. I don't have any regrets, and I won't look in the rearview mirror.
I love the part where he says unadulterated Eli, because he had a little Eli. I don't know if you get time, edit just that part, pure unadulterated Eli. I just thought about that. I want that soundbite. I want to replay that later on. But anyway, talking about that soundbite, okay, just that soundbite there. You're a Giants fan. If you ever get to talk to Dan Marino, okay, he took pride in being a Miami Dolphin. He takes pride that he played for the Dolphins. Deep down inside, it'll freaking eat him alive that he didn't win a Super Bowl. Okay? Whatever he tells you, whatever, I'm telling you, deep down inside, that's the only regret he'll have. But he doesn't hold it against the Dolphins. But he is a guy that takes so much pride in wearing that helmet. And there were a lot of players like that over the years. And you, as a fan, you love that. You love that Wade loves being a Miami Heat. That Alonzo Mourning loves being a Miami Heat player. Take a lot of pride. There aren't any players that take pride in being the Marlins. They just were lucky and happy that they won the championships in 87 and 2003. But there's really nobody going, oh, I have so much pride that I wore the Marlins uniform, because the organization has stood for nothing. Okay? And so this is different. And if you're a Giants fan, you have to take a lot of pride, a lot of honor, and feel great that here's a guy that really wanted to be your quarterback, really wanted to wear that helmet, really wanted to wear Giant Blue, really took pride in representing the team, its players, his organization, his fan base, and he will gladly be a Giant for the rest of his life. And he talks a little bit about how he loved being a Giant. Can we play that one, please, Bill?
It's been an honor to be a part of this family, and I hope that I've represented the organization in the way that you wanted me to from my first day to my last. For most of my life, people have called me easy. Believe me, there is nothing easy about today. Wellington Mara always said, once a Giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant. Thank you so much.
And if that doesn't break you up a little bit, then, I think you're half dead inside or something like that. That broke me up a little bit when I heard that because, watching Marino in his Hall of Fame speech, how he took pride in being a Dolphin. And I just found it cool. And he represented his team in a perfect manner. Was he boring? Yes. Was it planned that way? Yes. We just talked about the perfect superstar or the perfect player in Kawhi Leonard. Dude, he is boring. He's as boring as it gets. So is Tim Duncan. Okay? Some guys are like that. Some guys aren't colorful. Some guys are just about business. And that's what this guy was. There was no fluff. There was never any pointing fingers. He had some terrible teams around him the last few years. Never pointed fingers that his linemen couldn't block. Never said that the GM sucked and couldn't find talent. Never said that receiver wasn't good enough. Never complained about having a slew of backup receivers.
Unadulterated Eli.
Here you go, Eli. Nice turnaround. Yeah, that's great turnaround. So that, all those kind of things, he represented them in a perfect manner. And he deserves to be treated that way too. Because in a world of me, in a world that I'm just worried about my brand, I don't care about the team. In a world of, hey, when I walk into that locker room, let me grab the stat sheet so I can see what I did. Did I hit any incentives? It's my contract. I need a new deal. I need this. That guy was never about I. He was always about we. He was always about the team. And these are the examples that we don't have enough of. Saquon Barkley is cut from the same cloth. A guy that never complains, a guy that's going to be about the team, a guy that's going to sacrifice, because that's what that whole game is about. And to me, that's where, he had these incredible Super Bowl performances. And I know people will then start saying, well, is he a Hall of Famer? Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Is the Hall of Fame really on any level nowadays? Baseball, basketball, football, okay? I'm not smart enough to get into the hockey one, okay? But I follow the other three enough that I can stand on my own and I can make arguments with anybody, and I know the facts as much as anybody out there about all of this. But let's be honest now, okay? Because that's what we like doing on this show. Is the Hall of Fame really the Hall of the Elite? Is it really? Tell me. I need to know this. Right? I want to know, is it the Hall of the Elite? Because if it's the Hall of the Elite, then you don't put Joe Namath in, you only put Joe Montana. You understand that? You don't put Kurt Warner in, you put Terry Bradshaw. Am I being clear here? You don't put Dan Hampton in, you put Reggie White. I hit you right there, didn't I? I hit you right in the gut, didn't I? Did I hit you right in the gut?
Unacceptable.
All right. He's a Bears fan. I knew, but I got, hey, man, I've got the ammo. But again, it's not to slam Dan Hampton, right? But hey, you don't put Gale Sayers in, you put Walter Payton in. You know what I'm saying? So if we're going to get there, then let's just do that then. Then let's make the Hall of Fame the Hall of the Elite. And then we only can put Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. We can't put Mitch Richmond. Comprende, compadre? And I don't want to diss Mitch Richmond. I don't want to diss Gale Sayers or Dan Hampton. I apologize. I don't want to diss any of those guys. Joe Namath is in, they say, for one game. And I also say he's in because the merger of the AFL, NFL was such a critical moment in the history of the game that man forced that merger. Because when the Jets and Sonny Werblin said, we're going after him, we're going to give you $400,000 and a brand new Lincoln with the what are those called? Those dead man doors. What are those things called again? The
Suicide
doors. That's it. That badass Lincoln. To this day, it's still a badass car. To this day, most men would want that car because it's a badass vehicle. Okay.
Super Bowl III. I remember Dawson and Nick Bonaconti doing Inside the NFL back in the day, HBO, and talking about what is your proudest moment. And Lynn Dawson actually, think about this, he won Super Bowl IV.
Yeah.
The next one.
Right.
His proudest moment was sitting in the Orange Bowl and watching
in the press
Namath,
box. In the press box.
AFL
Yeah.
beat the NFL.
Yeah.
It solidified and gave validity to their whole league. And for him to say that his proudest moment is watching Namath win the Super Bowl, and he wins the next one, Super Bowl IV.
Well,
it gives you a perspective of how big that Super Bowl III was.
No doubt. Len Dawson, that moment, because they were talking up in the press box down the AFL and then the NFL. By the end of that game, Len Dawson got up in the press box, turned around and said, how does the AFL look now, fellas? And so they were all kind of quiet. So that was kind of part of his final shot at those people that were taking shots at the AFL. But my point is that we have watered down the halls of fame on all of them. We don't put in the elite of the players only. We put the other players that are great but did not accomplish nearly as much. Because remember, think about this. If we did only the elite of the elite, then there'll only be a few players in every. Because how many Magic Johnsons and Larry Birds are there? So it's Michael, Larry, Kareem. Is that what we're going to do? We're just going to put those top guys. So James Worthy's not worthy of being there because he's not Magic Johnson? Come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? So we have gotten to a point where I think our definitions of the Hall of Fame vary, but what doesn't is the definition of it overall. We have made it pretty clear that if you have established yourself as a pretty damn good player that's had some success in this league for a certain stretch, or you have played in big moments and you have performed in those big moments, we put you in. Because Kurt Warner's career, this is a guy who's bagging groceries, playing in an arena league, then goes, with the Rams, and it's one of the greatest teams we've ever seen offensively ever. He was deadly accurate. And then he falls off a cliff, and his career goes completely in the dumper again, and then gets resurrected again in Arizona, where he ends up in a Super Bowl. They don't win it, but he gets a lot of credit because it's Arizona, for Christ's sake. They got to a Super Bowl. That's amazing. You know what I mean?
If they call the penalties that were supposed to be called on that play right before the half that goes back 98 yards, there's like 2 holds and 2 clips right there by where the guy is running with the ball. That should have been called, no touchdown. That's the difference of the game.
Maybe. You never know, but there's a whole half to play. So you never know.
Now,
You can't play the what if
at least
game.
A 10-point swing. A field goal, and Pittsburgh got 7.
Yeah.
At least 10.
Yeah. But again, these are things that we have to understand, that we have not made the Hall of Fame anymore the Hall of the Elite. And if we want to do that, then let's do that. But we're not. We're way past that already. And we're putting players in that are really, really good, but they're not the elite ones. Let's just be honest. That's what we're doing. And Eli has earned every right to be there. Okay? I talked about it on the Thursday show, and I enlightened a lot of you with John Elway's stats, because as great as he is, people forget that his first half, his stats were pedestrian. It doesn't mean he wasn't a great player. It doesn't mean that his team didn't suck around him, and then, whether it's Sewell or Sammy Winder or whoever he was playing with, they were just guys, and he had to elevate those just guys. He had the three amigos, which were pretty good. But, we're talking about a guy that did not accomplish a lot early on. And yet he got to Super Bowls where he got killed. And then obviously he got his revenge. So we've reached a point now where we have to understand that the Hall of Fame is a place where we celebrate greatness, but not to the point of being elite. We put in the elite, of course, and we celebrate them, but it's the definition is a little bit more wider than it should be. And by the way, this is why we also induct coaches, and we induct owners, and we induct people that affected the sport in a major way in at different levels, because it's about the people that were a part of the game and the great moments of the game. And so let me ask you something. In those two giant Super Bowls, if you take Eli Manning out, what do you have? You need somebody to make the biggest throws in those two games. I get it. The defenses were the anchor of those teams. They put incredible pressure on Tom Brady.
I was just going to say, you could specify that defensive line.
Yes, I get all of that, dude. Tom Brady came out yesterday, and you got to love what Tom Brady said yesterday. Do you know why you got to love it? Because it was classy and it was truthful. Here's his quote. "Congratulations on your retirement and a great career. Not going to lie, though, I wish you hadn't won any Super Bowls." I love it. I freaking love it, man. Competitor that he is, he's still pissed that he lost. That guy's got 800 rings and he wants 802. But what are we going to do? Are we only going to put Brady Montana and Bradshaw and Unitas and those kind of guys in the hall, and then that's it? You can't do that. And by the way, you'd go to Canton, you'd pay $35 to walk in, you'd see 35 guys, and you'd walk right out. All right? If we only put the elite of the elite, we'd only have a few guys in there, and the rest it'd be a really short trip through the Hall of Fame. So I think we got to include some of these guys that have had great careers and were incredible in great moments, and that's what Eli was. Even in the championship games, he played well. It wasn't only the Super Bowls. That's why I would tell you that, it's just one of those deals where we got to look at it a little differently here. We got to understand where we're at with these Hall of Fames. Peyton Manning, his brother, I thought it was let's hear from Peyton Manning talking about Eli Manning's retirement and his brother. I thought that there's a part of it that I find kind of funny when he's talking about his own brother. Can you play it, Bill? Go ahead. Fire it off.
Real proud of him. It's a happy day. Certainly it's a celebration, but certainly as one of his biggest fans and supporters, it's sad because I'll miss watching him play. He really was kind of my favorite player, as you heard, to watch after my dad and after Dan Marino, and it's been a great time to reflect the past couple days.
I almost thought he was going to say, well, he was my favorite player to watch after my dad, after Dan Marino, and Joe Montana, And, I really enjoyed Steve Bartkowski. And then I also watched a little bit of Phil Simms and really enjoyed Boomer Esiason because he was a lefty. And, Jeff Blake threw a really deep ball. And then, I also enjoyed Eli. I almost thought he was just going to keep naming names. And there's a part of me that was like, when he snuck in Marino before his brother, I was like, wow, dude. that's kind of a punch in the gut. Just damn, man. But, Peyton has been consistent about Marino his whole life. I remember when he first played him and he talked about it and all that and how he was always in awe and how he loved watching Dan and all that stuff. So, at least, you got to love Peyton's honesty. Definitely. You got to love the absolute honesty on that one. That was good. Let's see what we got here. Eli doesn't deserve to be first ballot. I think he should wait years to get in, but he will be first ballot because of his last name. I disagree with the user, Tom. I don't think he gets in first ballot. And I agree with you. I say he's a Hall of Famer, but not a first ballot guy. And I bet he doesn't get in first ballot. Myron says Eli is a Hall of Famer. One reason, he was tough for the playoffs where it all mattered, not the regular season. That's true. Let's see. True Blazer says, I don't think Warner's a Hall of Famer, but if he is, Eli's definitely a Hall of Famer. That's my point, True Blazer. Let's see. What else do we have here? Because some of them, you guys are talking to each other. Edward Bonaventure says, good morning, gents. Look nice and warm in South Florida. Eddie from NYC. Yeah, man. Well, it's a T-shirt. It's another T-shirt day here in South Florida in January, which is a beautiful thing.
The winter cold lasted all of 3 days?
Yes,
oh,
exactly.
Boy.
And by the way, Edward,
and we were out of town the whole time.
Edward, you must be young, right? Because if you were older, you'd be here, right? Because isn't that like a law? Like in New York, like you get to a certain age and like, okay, we're forced to come to Florida so we can die here. So you must be young. But you're more than welcome. Come on down and join us. Get a little warm, my brother. Nothing wrong with that. And you guys can chime in there on the YouTube chat board. As always, we appreciate you chiming in and supporting us here on the program. But I thought that was pretty cool yesterday with Eli Manning and the way everything was handled. I thought the Giants, the Mara family, talking about how nobody's going to wear the number 10 again and he's going into the Ring of Honor, all well-deserved. All well-deserved, man. And these are players that – and one guy, was talking about how he'll be a first ballot because of his name. I kind of – not that part, but here's where I would take some umbrage with some of the comments that people would say. I don't want to be the guy that tries to give him any kind of credit because of his last name. I watched him at Ole Miss play when Ole Miss was nothing, and he won like 8 games or something, 8 or 9, I think it was, on a terrible team.
You know
in
something?
A brutal freaking conference.
The way he looked in college and having nothing, we expected more from Eli than Peyton coming out of college.
Well, yeah, because Peyton had set some standards too.
But Peyton lost to Florida
right.
all 4 times.
Yeah.
The next year, T. Martin winning the championship.
Right.
Eli, what he did.
With very little.
Exactly.
Almost nothing.
We were expecting Eli to kind of supersede and pass Peyton.
Yeah.
Be more, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We were.
Yeah, definitely. Because Ole Miss wasn't spending money like they recently did. I'm sorry, did I say that? Anyway, so Eli, and I gave you guys the example of what he did last year with nothing. He had a hell of a year.
When you what was it, 4,300 yards?
21 and 11.
67?
66% completion percentage, 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. On a team
How did he get to 4,300 yards? And the kid
no wide
quarterbacked
receivers.
What? At least 4 games?
No wide receivers.
How many games did he play? 12?
Who?
Eli.
No, he played them all, I think.
No, the kid did.
No. This is 2018.
Okay.
Not this year. It was
The
18.
previous. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't Daniel Jones' year. It
I
was
was
the year
gonna say.
before where he played, and he
He
played
had
the whole year.
4,300.
4,300 yards, and all his receivers were injured. All of them were injured.
That's crazy.
They were all backups. And the guy threw for 4,300 yards. That was a Pro Bowl-like year last year.
Yeah, all those passes were to Saquon.
Nobody will say it because the team sucked and nobody will look at it. But if you look at what he did last year in those conditions, only a really damn good quarterback can do that, bro.
Oh,
No offensive line, no wide receivers, and the guy throws for 4,300 yards.
did
you really gotta look at it.
Did Saquon like kind of overshadow him being the rookie and what he did? Did that kind of like blanket what he like did?
Some of that
It got washed.
yes. Some of it is that. The other part is they sucked. They didn't win much. That's why they had a top pick for Daniel Jones. They were terrible, but it wasn't his fault that they were terrible. They were terrible because it's a terrible team. Now, at this point, does he need help? Yeah, and so does Tom Brady now at this point, too. Just the way it is. But when the day we want to make it the Hall of the Elite, then we can become elitists. But it's like we want to become elitists when the Hall isn't about that. And that's what you have to pay attention, where you're at with this thing and the voting and the kind of players that you're allowing in. So are we only going to allow Michael Jordan? Okay, so then if we're going to allow the Michael Jordans of the world, then there are going to be some really good players that will not get in. And that's why the Hall of Fame definition, some people want it in a place where it's not realistic because it's not where it's at. And that's where some of you out there, you have to come to, join us in reality. And this is what their Hall of Fame is. So now we will do that. Hey, I was just complaining. By the way, it's not a sports thing. I was just complaining about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They just allowed T-Rex to get in. T-Rex has no business at all in the Hall of Fame. There's nothing about T-Rex that's Hall of Fame worthy. That's where we're at. They have one big song in this country. They have another song that's not a big hit, 20th Century Boy, whatever. They had a slew of hits at the UK, but not here. It's not the UK Hall of Fame. It's in America. It's the American Rock Hall of Fame here. They made very little impact in this country. In fact, Power Station did their song better than they did. So why are they in there and Pat Benatar is not? Why are they in there and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and the Scorpions are not? Kraftwerk, the most influential electronic band in the history of music, is completely crapped on. This is where we're at in this world. When we want to make it the Hall of the Elite, okay, and we're going to put in the Beatles, we will not put in T-Rex or Donovan. Do you understand that? But if we're going to put T-Rex and Donovan in, then you're not the Hall of the Elite anymore. It's not just about Jimi Hendrix. We're going to have to take a couple steps back and put John Mayer in. And again, nothing against John Mayer. Great artist. Great guitarist in his own right. Is he Jimi Hendrix? No. Is he Eric Clapton? No. But eventually, John Mayer probably makes it in. What can I tell you? You can put Jimi Hendrix, and then, I don't know, years from now, Jimi Hendrix Light, Lenny Kravitz gets in. When When we want to make it the Hall of the Elite, then come talk to me. And then we'll have that brutal conversation of who's elite and who's not. Hey, I started the hour talking about the Heat, right? I said, Jimmy Butler's an all-star. I said, Bam is playing like an all-star. But what is Kawhi? That ain't no all-star. That's a superstar. The superstar says, no, this is over now. I'm taking over. All-stars, they take over when they're on. Superstars turn it on whenever they want. That's the difference. So when we want to make it the Hall of the Elite, then we'll do that. All right. We got 1 hour down, right?
Yes, and we need to get busy because...
Yes, Andre Fernandez.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of the Hall of the Elite, Andre Fernandez from The Athletic. The Hall of the Elite. That is up next. We talk Heat basketball and the Clippers next.
The